John Meredith has announced he will be running against incumbent Will Culver for Huntsville City Council District 5, which covers much of West Huntsville. He says that the Zert and Martin Road projects would be a focus of his, among a list of other projects and reform efforts. Meredith is the retired owner of the Meredith Advocacy Group and is the son of civil rights leader James Meredith. The election will be on August 25th.